Hello. It is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Before I know no one's in here, this is a YouTube live. I'm saying that for anyone who watches this later. I'm saying that because this may also be used as a episode, an actual podcast episode, because I'm officially making the announcement of what the podcast, the change that has taken place that I was talking about last week. I kind of briefed you guys last week on what was going to be happening. That, some things will be, changing, some things will be evolving. Not, I don't like to use the word change because change just sounds so drastic, right? But evolving. We're evolving. The podcast is evolving. The brand is evolving. So that's kind of what I want to share. So, I just want to make that disclosure that this audio from the live may also be used on the podcast for an actual episode because this week I did not have a guest. And I was supposed to have a guest, but that episode got postponed. And so I said, well, what I will do instead is use this opportunity to share what's going on. It's the week that I was supposed to be discussing that anyway. So I figured that I would go ahead and kind of use this opportunity to make this an actual episode, the announcement, an episode. So, drum roll, please. I mean, for, boom, 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 boom. No one's in here, but when you see this later, you will know. The podcast will now be titled and called on all podcast platforms, I Pick Passion and Funny. I actually have my other phone here because I'm looking. I want to make sure that I stay on track and make sure I cover everything that needs to be covered, as far as like making sure I touch on everything that I need to touch on. So the podcast, the first I want to say the YouTube is going to remain the same. Okay. So, again, podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, that will be changed to I Pick Passion and Funny. So again, I'm talking to both of you here, YouTube, as well as talking to audio right now, because this audio is going to be used again, maybe used on audio platforms, on the audio platforms of the podcast. So, hello, whoever just checked in, or whoever tapped in, I should say. I don't know why I said checked in, but whatever. How are you today? Hello. Happy you're here. I'm just basically, this is something I do every Tuesday. I go live. This time is just a little bit different because I'm actually making an announcement about what's happening with my podcast. Hello. Okay, nice. Okay, awesome. I'm just kind of making an official announcement about the changes or the evolution of my podcast. And so that's what this is. And the audio of this will be used on audio platforms, probably as an episode as well. At least I'm kind of playing with that idea. But my podcast is now going to be called Hi, How Are You? So for audio, if you hear me saying hi, how are you? I'm talking in the chat. So for those that, don't see this or won't see this later, I'm speaking to who's in the chat. So I'll be going back and forth, kind of getting feedback, because a part of this is also to get feedback as well. That's kind of the purpose of this also. Hold on, guys. I meant to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Hold on just a second. Okay. I don't know if that interfered at all, but that was my intention. My apologies. So, hey, y'all. Glad y'all here. We're just talking about I Pick Passion. The YouTube channel is going to be the same. I'm not changing anything on the channel as far as the name. So everything that you see is what you will still continue to see. Of course, more content to come, and some great guests coming. as well on the podcast. So you all will see that, the visual of those episodes. So super excited. Hey, Robin! Hey, girl. That's crazy. It's been a long time. I miss you. But anyway, um, so I'm just talking about the changes that will be happening to my podcast. Basically, the podcast is just going to be shifting to a more funnier, which I kind of played with that idea already at the beginning of this year. I kind of did a slight rebrand, if you will, and now it's kind of been the direction that I was headed the whole time, but I hadn't fully developed the idea of what exactly I was looking for or what exactly I was doing. Um, and so now I'm fully engulfed. I know my plan. I know what I'm doing. I miss you. We got to get together. But anyway, um, I know we say that, but we really do. Um, so yeah. That's cool. So yeah, yes, I'm excited about the changes that are happening. The podcast, of course, again now it will be I pick passion and funny, because I kind of want to take a more funny direction. I want to talk to, if y'all watch the news, which I'm sure we all know what we are facing in the world today, and planes crashing and our administration and everything. It's a lot of uncertainties, right? And so the one thing that you can do to is find joy, which y'all know I've been talking about finding joy for a while. That's something that I always say, you got to find the joy. But you can control those laughs though. Go get you some laughter, go find you some laughter, go to a comedy club, pull up a YouTube video, like anything that can help you to feel better about the world that we live in today. And so, yeah, so that's basically the direction of the podcast. So I'll be talking to comedians, and which I've already started doing that. But I hadn't changed the podcast name yet, but the name will officially change. Hey. So yeah, so I'm super excited about that. More comedians and comedian adjacent. And when I say adjacent, that means like people that are just naturally funny, people that might kind of be associated with comedians, but they don't really call themselves a comedian. Yes, I know you remember me. I hope you do. I think you were in last week, right? Didn't I talk to you last week? Um, so yeah, I'm glad you welcome back. Thanks for coming back. So yeah, guys, it's just that's what I'm here for. I'm here to, spread some joy. And if I can do that, because I look for joy. I mean, don't get me wrong. Right. Yeah, I'm constantly looking for joy, and comedy is an outlet for me. So if it's an outlet for me, I know what it can do for others. And so I want to help be a vehicle um to spread that. So that's why the name is going to change. So all podcast platforms from starting, I haven't officially changed it, but probably tomorrow, because I haven't made the change yet. But it will be I Pick Passion and Funny. I'm going to keep saying that because I want everybody to know that. I don't want anyone to be looking for the podcast and you're like, oh, it will be changed. It still will be I Pick Passion. We're still doing the same thing. The vibe, it hasn't entirely changed. We're still having real conversations. We're still sharing dope stories of amazing people that are doing amazing things. But we're just making it a little bit funnier, right? We're making it funnier and more lighter and all the things. So the focus is changing a little bit, but we still doing the same. The vibe is still the same. So this, of course, is a time where if you guys have any feedback or any questions, and of course for those that may come in, tap in later, comment, let me know your thoughts. I appreciate it. Always looking for feedback. So yeah, I'm excited, you guys. I'm excited about the change. I'm really like really excited about it. I can't wait to get the get my funny on, and I hope that you guys will join me on the journey of laughter, because it's good for the soul. It's good for the soul. And I really do believe, I heard a comedian say, he said something that was very dope to me. He was like, I think it was To Hear More, if I'm not mistaken. He said something very prevalent to me. He was like, as comedians, I believe we have a superpower. And I thought about that, and I was like, you know what? They do. They do have a superpower, to spread laughter, to help people forget about their day, forget about the chaos that we face every day in the world. Like, they have a superpower that they can get up on that stage and say something, say words, and they can make you laugh. If that's not a superpower, I really don't know what is. So yeah, that's the big change. That's the era, the new era that we're stepping into is funnier. And the name, of course, I made the shift at the top of the year. I said I was going funnier, and I did, but I did not change the name. So I think the next best, I kind of had, after kind of thinking about it, I was like, you know what? I said, I can't just go funnier and not change the name. Like, I feel like the name has to change with that. I feel like that's the only way to do it. And so that's what we're doing. And so, as far as all of my other, which I did discuss last week, all of my other, um, the interviews and things that I'm doing with people that may not be comedians or comedian adjacent, those interviews, I'm still planning on doing that, just not yet, because, it's too much to juggle at this point in time. But I do want to launch a Patreon. I talked about that last week. That's something that I do want to do, is start a Patreon and have that as an exclusive podcast in itself. But right now, I can't do I can't do it. I can't do it. I wish I could. Lord knows I wish I could. But at this point in time, it's too much. So give me another couple months to kind of like get my rhythm. And because this is not all I do. I do have a full-time career aside from this, which is that I love, and this is my baby, and this is my passion project, if you will. And this is something I'm passionate about in creating content and, storytelling, journalism, all the things. This has always been my background, but I still have to pay the bills. Okay. Let's just be honest. And so with that being said, this is not sustaining at this point. And so I, got to do what I got to do. So with my full-time career and being a content creator and doing this as well, a podcast, YouTube channel, I'm doing everything. I'm editing. I'm the everything right now. So it's a little hard to, and then you're talking about trying to do another exclusive podcast and a Patreon and trying to give y'all content on there. Because if I start a Patreon, that means that some of you guys are investing in me, which I appreciate. But I want to make sure that I'm giving you content if you're going to invest in me. And at this point, it's just not sustainable for me. So give me a couple months. I got y'all. Patreon, and so I'll start booking guests for that podcast. But at this point, just I hope you'll be patient with me. I appreciate it. But keep tapping in right now and growing this channel, because the goal is to build this community, that dope people that are picking passion over here. Because ultimately, that's what I'm doing. I'm just choosing to make my podcast at this point funnier. So we're talking to comedians again, and comedian adjacent folk that are doing dope things and that I am a fan of. So yeah. Y'all have anything to say? Any questions? Y'all want to talk? You know what I'm saying? I'm open to that while I'm here. I just want to, tap in. If you're not subscribed, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and do that. If you're not, which you should be, but if you're new here, that's fine. Go ahead and subscribe. Go and hit that subscribe button, share with your friends and all your people, and tell them what we're doing over here. And I greatly appreciate that. Yeah, y'all. And excuse some of the things in the background. If you see anything, I made groceries. Okay. Groceries have been, so the groceries, yeah, they're not all put away. So don't judge me. Okay. Don't judge me. Yeah. So, yeah. I'm so glad you guys tapped in. Robin, are you still here? And I see some, I can see who's, but I don't know who's still in here. Javon. Oh, Robin, yeah, she's still here. That's what's up, girl. Well, we'll talk offline, but yeah, I'm super excited about everything that's happening. So I feel like I'm looking. Let me make sure I'm covering everything that I need to be. That I just wanted to say. Okay, hold on. Run. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, yeah, I covered everything. And again, I think this audio is going to also be used for podcast platforms. So if you hear, okay, for the podcast platforms, or for the audio platforms, I should say, if you hear me talking and engaging, it's because this is on YouTube, and I'm kind of using it, interchangeably, because I wanted to kind of make an announcement, but I didn't want to have to record two separate announcements. Did y'all call that lazy? I don't know. Whatever. Whatever. I believe it can work. And so that's what we're gonna try to do. And if not, then I'll record a separate episode. But yeah, y'all. So anybody, I would appreciate it if you watch this later. You don't have to, of course, say anything now, but leave a comment. If you have any thoughts, if you have any questions, if you have any feedback, on what you like to see, what's working, what's not, like any feedback at all. If you're excited about the new direction of the pod, that the podcast itself, again, the channel's remaining the same, but the podcast itself, the name will be different. So you'll see some changes on the channel. Like you'll see a distinction, like I pick passion and funny. I'm gonna try. I haven't done that yet, but I have it broken down in categories on the channel, so it's easier to find what you're looking for. So yeah, I'm trying to, we getting it together. You know what I'm saying? It's a work in progress over here. You know what I'm saying? It's a work in progress. So I thank you guys for being here. I really do. And I love you, Robin. And yeah, that's gonna be said on the if I use this audio, it's gonna be said on the podcast. They're gonna hear. Everybody knows I love Robin. Okay, Robin is a friend. She's one of my really good friends. And so if you hear, you know what I'm saying, me say that, you know what it is. So that's my girl. Always will be. Thank you. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. If you guys have any, again, if you tap in later, thank you for tapping in, and let me know your thoughts. If you're excited about the new direction we're headed, again, the podcast itself is not completely changing. The core of what we do is still the same. We're just getting funnier. We're just making it officially funnier. So thank y'all for tapping in. I hope y'all have a great rest of your evening. Be blessed. All the things. Find some laughter. My channel. You know what I'm saying? My podcast, of course. But go to a comedy show. Find your local comedians. You know what I'm saying? Your comedians that are, doing dope things in your city. They travel comedians. Find a funny bone. Anything, whatever. Just laugh. Okay. Spread some joy. Okay, let me put these groceries away, because my background don't look that, you know what I'm saying. But anyway, talk to y'all later.